The question was so small, so quiet, and yet it landed in the air like thunder. It floated across the grocery store aisle and struck a man's chest with the force of every regret he had ever carried. He had come only to buy bread, milk, and the cheapest canned soup he could find, but instead he found himself frozen between shelves, listening to a child ask something no child should ever have to wonder about. In that moment, time seemed to slow, and something inside him, the part he had buried under years of survival, began to wake up. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of one person changing another person's life, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this exist because people like you still believe the world can be better. The man's name was Armand, a single father who had learned how to live with silence. Not peaceful silence, but the kind that comes after loss, when laughter leaves a home and never quite returns the same way. 2 years earlier, life had taken his wife after a long illness, leaving him with a 5-year-old daughter and a mountain of bills that never seemed to shrink. He worked long shifts loading delivery trucks, came home exhausted, cooked simple meals, and told bedtime stories even when his eyes burned from fatigue. Every day felt like walking through heavy rain without shelter, but he kept moving because his daughter was his entire world. That afternoon, Armand was counting coins in his pocket while walking through the grocery store, calculating what he could afford and what he would have to leave behind. He knew the exact price of everything he picked up because survival had trained his brain to think in numbers. Bread meant lunches for 3 days. Milk meant breakfast for 2 mornings. Soup meant dinner when he was too tired to cook. He had become an expert in stretching small things into something that felt like enough. That was when he heard the child's voice. It came from the next aisle, thin and trembling, like someone holding back tears. The words were simple, but they carried a lifetime of pain. The child asked their mother if they were bad people, and the mother did not answer immediately. The silence that followed was heavy, the kind filled with guilt, exhaustion, and love that had nowhere safe to land. Armand did not mean to listen. He never liked interfering in other people's lives, but something about the question rooted him in place. He could hear movement, the soft rustle of clothing, maybe the mother kneeling to look at her child. When the mother finally spoke, her voice sounded like someone trying to smile while standing in a storm. She spoke softly, carefully, like each word might break if she said it too loudly. Armand did not hear every word clearly, but he understood enough. The mother was trying to explain poverty in a way that would not scar her child. She was trying to turn hunger into something that felt like patience. She was trying to turn hardship into something that felt temporary, even if she herself did not fully believe it. And Armand understood that language. He spoke it every day with his own daughter. He slowly stepped into the aisle and saw them. The mother looked young, maybe late 20s, but exhaustion made her seem older. Her clothes were clean but worn. The basket in the cart was nearly empty. Armand recognized the look immediately, the look of someone calculating prices faster than hope. Something twisted in his chest. Not pity, recognition. He remembered nights when he skipped meals so his daughter could eat more. He remembered pretending he was not hungry. He remembered telling bedtime stories about heroes while wondering how he would pay electricity bills. He remembered the moment he realized no one was coming to save him. And suddenly, standing in that grocery aisle, he realized maybe he could be the person he once needed. But helping strangers was not easy when you barely survived yourself. Armand checked his pocket again, feeling the coins press into his palm. He knew exactly how much he had. Helping them meant sacrificing something for his own home, maybe dinner, maybe tomorrow's breakfast. His mind started calculating risks automatically, but his heart was louder. He watched as the mother quietly removed items from her cart and placed them back on shelves, one by one: milk, eggs, fruit.
Each item felt like watching hope being returned to the world unopened. The child stood quietly, holding the biscuits, watching her mother like she was trying to understand how adults carried so much sadness without collapsing. Armand thought about his daughter at home, probably drawing pictures or watching cartoons while waiting for him. He imagined her asking the same question one day. The thought felt like a knife sliding slowly between his ribs. He took a slow breath, then another, and he made a decision that felt both terrifying and inevitable. He walked forward and gently placed his own basket into the cart behind the mother's items. Not dramatically, not loudly, just quietly, like kindness often happens. The mother turned, surprised, confusion in her eyes. Armand felt awkward immediately. He was not used to speaking to strangers about things that mattered. He spoke softly, explaining that sometimes people help each other, and that was how the world kept moving. He said it was okay. He said everyone needed help sometimes. He said it like he was reminding himself, too. The mother tried to refuse at first. Pride and survival often lived in the same place, but exhaustion won. Tears filled her eyes, not dramatic tears, but the kind that comes when someone finally feels safe enough to breathe. The child smiled, and that smile changed something inside Armand forever. Because in that moment, he realized something powerful. Kindness didn't make his struggles disappear, but it made them mean something. And sometimes, meaning was enough to keep going. That was the moment Armand didn't just help someone. That was the moment he changed the direction of his own life.
After paying for the groceries, Armand expected to feel panic about money. Instead, he felt strangely calm, like he had stepped into a version of himself he did not know existed. The mother thanked him repeatedly, her voice shaking with relief and disbelief. Armand kept telling her it was nothing, but deep inside, he knew it was not nothing. It was everything. Walking out of the store, he expected life to return to normal. Instead, it shifted in quiet, unexpected ways. The next morning, he woke up before his alarm. He watched his daughter sleeping and thought about how close people lived to breaking points without anyone noticing. He thought about how easily kindness could disappear from the world if everyone waited for someone else to act first. At work, he found himself noticing people more. The tired security guard, the coworker who always skipped lunch, the delivery driver who never smiled anymore. It was like his world had been in black and white, and suddenly someone had turned on color. But kindness came with complications. That week, Armand struggled financially. He skipped meals, he stretched groceries, he lied to his daughter once, saying he had already eaten. The guilt hurt, but it also strengthened his resolve. Because he realized something important. Helping others did not require being rich, it required being willing. One evening, he found a small envelope slipped under his apartment door. Inside was a simple thank you note and some cash. No name, no explanation, just gratitude. Armand sat on his couch for a long time, staring at the money. He felt uncomfortable taking it, but he also understood something deeper. Kindness moved in circles. It rarely stopped with one person. Weeks passed. Life remained hard, but something had changed in how Armand carried hardship. He no longer felt alone inside it. Then, one afternoon, something unexpected happened. He saw the same mother and child again. They looked different, not wealthy, not magically transformed, but lighter. The child ran toward him like recognizing a safe place. The mother smiled in a way that looked like real sleep had returned to her life. She told him she had found part-time work. She told him she had started believing things could change. She told him his help had come at the exact moment she almost gave up. Armand felt embarrassed by the praise, but also proud. Not in a loud way, proud in a quiet, steady way.
That night, he told his daughter a new bedtime story, not about superheroes, about ordinary people helping each other survive storms. And for the first time in years, Armand slept without dreaming about failure.
Months passed, and life did not suddenly become easy. Bills still came, work was still exhausting. Some days still felt heavier than others. But Armin had built something inside himself that no amount of hardship could easily destroy. Hope. Not the loud, dramatic kind, the quiet, stubborn kind that survives in small apartments and empty wallets. One winter evening, Armin found himself back in that same grocery store, not because life was perfect, but because life kept moving. And then he heard something again. A child's voice. Different child, different mother. Same question, same fear hiding underneath different words. Armin closed his eyes briefly, feeling the weight of memory and purpose settle into his chest. He realized something profound. Kindness was not a single moment. It was a lifestyle, a chain reaction, a quiet rebellion against despair. He walked forward again, because now he knew who he was. He was someone who helped. Even when it was hard, even when it cost something, even when no one was watching. Years later, his daughter would grow up remembering not how much money they had, but how much love lived inside their home. She would remember nights of simple food and big stories. She would remember her father teaching her that being a good person was not about having everything. It was about sharing whatever you had. And somewhere in the world, that first child would grow up remembering that a stranger once changed the direction of her life in a grocery store aisle. Kindness does not erase pain, but it gives pain a purpose, and sometimes purpose is what saves people. Before this story ends, I have a special request. Please comment one word that represents kindness to you, because stories like this only matter if they remind us who we can be. Armin grew older. Life gave him better days and harder ones, but he never forgot the question that started everything. And every time he heard a child laugh or saw someone help another person, he felt something warm and steady inside his chest. The feeling of knowing he had chosen the right path. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, comment, and engage with this video. You never know who might need this reminder today. Because sometimes saving the world does not mean doing something big. Sometimes it means answering a small voice, asking a heartbreaking question, and choosing to make sure the answer is hope.